Well, Lucas County Health Commissioner Eric Skidzinski is with us today. Eric, question for you. Are you recommending these guidelines from ODH for schools within Lucas County?
Yeah, had a conversation with the schools, so some of the schools yesterday. Yeah, we're going to be recommending the guidelines that have been set forth from yesterday. We're still in the midst of trying to review them, get them up on our website. There's been a couple questions from the schools that really don't aren't addressed by the guidance document. So what we're trying to do is get some clarification from the Ohio Department of Health. And we expect to have another meeting with the schools on Thursday to kind of finalize this.
I'm guessing one of those questions might be, how does this actually work for districts that already have mask mandates? That was the first question that I asked myself when I was watching that press conference yesterday.
If you really think about it, those that have mask mandates already, their likelihood of causing any issues with infections is very low. It could be some of those school districts that have no mask mandate. They've had some issues with infections in their schools, quarantine concerns. So it really does help them. But I think in general, what this does is really help the kids stay in school, stay on the field, or the sports field, but then also too help limit the ability for the virus to be in those schools.
Do you think that we will see the mask mandates for all of the students and staff disappear for those schools that currently have them in place?
There's been discussions with those schools. When do they take off that mask mandate? What should they do? And again, the conversation that I've had with many of them is that let's look at, if you're looking at a kind of a time or a matrix that says when do we take the mask mandate off. When we get around 100, below 100 per 100,000, I think that does give everybody kind of a goal to shoot for. But again, it's going to be up to those individual schools when they want to do that. And
are we at that point right now countywide?
If you look at our numbers last week from the Ohio Department of Health, they were around 400 per 100,000. Doing some quick math over the last couple of days, again, we don't have the best picture, but we're probably more around 250 to 300. But we do see our cases dropping, and that means that 100,000 rates dropping as well too.
Okay, so as far as what happens next here, you mentioned that ultimately, and we heard Dr. Vanderhoff say that too, that it comes down to local health departments and then those individual school districts. Will we see a decision that is across the board for all of those schools that joined forces the last time when that mask mandate was put into place?
I can't speak on that. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and again, make sure that those questions that are asked by the schools are answered, so we can get that into the guidance document as well too. What we have in front of us right now is the guidance that ODH has put forth, and again, like I said, we're going to go ahead and recommend that guidance, but we want to make sure we don't do this multiple times. So that's kind of why I've just asked my staff to make sure that we have all these questions answered so that when we do put this forth, we don't have to go back 2, 3, 4 times on our website or with the schools to say, okay, we didn't think about this, or this needs to be addressed. For instance, what about kids in the cafeteria being exposed? Because right now they don't have to wear masks.
Sure.
In the cafeteria. So there's some gray area here that we do want to try to make sure that that's addressed.
Okay, so a fluid situation. Well, Eric, thanks so much for being with us today.
Sure.
As we answer some of those questions that a lot of us who are parents are probably asking.
Sure. Yes.